Thank you very much for joining us. I am Iori Falan. I hope you had a great weekend. This is the, what shall we say, the Independence Week, if you get what we mean. But much more of that going into tomorrow. This morning, still some, other matters that are sort of a carryover from what's been in the public space in terms of conversations. And let's go all the way over to Zamfara. And, banditry is a problem. In fact, there are those who are seeing Zamfara, unfortunately, as the epicenter of insecurity of banditry in the northwest. And we've been hearing, the two governors. When I say two governors, I mean the existing governor, Dr. Dauda Lawal of the PDP, who took over from Matawalle, who is now the Minister of State for Defense. And some very grievous allegations have been made. We've also heard explanations from, the former Governor Matawalle, now Minister of State for Defense. But all in all, quite worrying. So let's look at that this morning. And in going there, our guest this morning is a friend of the house, as a matter of fact. We've been on the show together. Deye Misaka is a public affairs analyst and PR, as well as security consultant. Good morning, Mr. Saka.
Good morning. It's nice to be here. Thanks. I said Happy New Year off while we were It's been a while.
Indicating...
Yeah, the long break.
You've been too far away.
Not me. You don't want to see my face.
But it is a very, very serious matter, is it not, going on? That is to say, yes, first of all, going on in Zamfara. But then also, the principal actors in the sense that we have now the immediate past governor who has moved on to higher responsibilities, and the incumbent governor. Yes, they are of different parties. Now, I wonder, in the light of the grievousness of the statements that have come from the incumbent governor, how much of it can be attributed to, cross-party rivalry, and how much is fact, as the incumbent governor says he is in a position to actually tell?
Well,
the most grievous, the most dangerous for me is when Dr. Dauda Lawal says that he has information that the bandits actually had access to Government House in Zamfara. Now that's worrying.
It's hilarious, but at the same time it's painful, it's disheartening. That
did you just say it's a lie?
No, I say it's hilarious, and it's
it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious, and it's disheartening when people, because of the office or offices they occupy, knows that anytime they step in front of the microphone, whatever they say becomes the news. And I think there's a need either to expose the knowledge gap of Dauda Lawal or educate him about governance and issue of governance or matters of governance. First of all, the reason and the obvious reason for this ambush, if I can use that word, against Matawalle, is because it doesn't want Matawalle as the Minister of State of Defense. And you see, you cannot...
But it's not up to him.
It's not up to him. And that's the sad part. And before...
But where do you get that idea from?
Yeah, it's obvious.
If you suspend...
No, circumstance... in law...
The governor might not like...
I'm going to call... in law...
His predecessor...
in law...
To now be the Minister of State
in law, you
for
can say controversial facts, facts that speak for itself.
Okay.
And there are circumstantial evidence that, circumstantial evidence points to the fact that this is what is happening. You came on here. He went on a massive media round to claim that the state did not see the benefits of Matawalle as the Minister of State of Defense. Okay. That is, it even further exposes his knowledge about governance, because as the Minister of State of Defense, Matawalle is not a brigade commander. He doesn't command troops. He doesn't mobilize troops. He's not in charge of the counter-insurgency strategies or concepts of operations, collabs for any military operations. He's just there as representative of Mr. President, administering the Defense Ministry. Now, you went making these allegations that there was no... well, let's even start with this. The claim by Dauda Lawal of his efforts in combating banditry in Northwest is based on falsehood.
Okay.
And I'm wondering why the media, the fourth estate, did not even point that out. Dauda Lawal earlier this year inaugurated Community Protective Guard. Made it look as if it was his idea. But if you go back in history, July 2022, Matawalle inaugurated the Community Protective Guards.
Okay.
Now the question is, are you saying you are inaugurating or rejecting? So if it's somebody that could set out lying about his efforts, why should I believe anything he says? Secondly, why is it? Because Dauda Lawal is not only liable to, for libel, he's also liable for treason. And I'll tell you why. He's a politician, may not probably understand comradeship. But for those in the military, it doesn't speak well for someone that have lost costmates, that have lost SO, that has lost their commander and everything, and you are accusing, you're making such a damning allegation without facts above his pay grade, because there is no way Dauda Lawal can be availed to any intel security report, either from the DSS or the NSA's office or even the DI or what have you, because it's at the command level of the DSS and what have you. It's not in that command structure. So there's no way Dauda Lawal can, and I'm saying as a matter of fact, that Dauda Lawal cannot state as a matter of fact.
Okay, indeed. You see, from what you're saying, I beg your pardon, that's the first thing that occurs to any, excuse me, right-thinking person. You don't just become a minister without being vetted. Vetted
by the DSS.
You have to be vetted by the state, all the organs of the state responsible, for and having the wherewithal to perform that function. But can he have? That is to say, can the incumbent governor have pulled entirely out of the air the point that he made, that he has evidence, he found out since coming to office that they were, actually receptive of bandits in the State House before he came. Now, I bring this back up because when you look at it, the former governor has also spoken.
Yeah,
he has also spoken
about it.
I think he has been frank about it, and he has said much of what has been said in terms of him cooperating, put the word in inverted commas, with bandits in the state was not done in the dark.
Yeah,
was not done in the dark.
I was going to even come to that because
he said DSS. All the traditional organs, traditional rulers,
institutions,
everybody, citizens within the state, that this was the joint understanding that they had as they were overwhelmed, that they should be a rapprochement, and that he then followed the advice of his entire community. There are a lot of people that will want to probably analyze that.
But a quick one for me, before we go to that, is in any warfare, because we're combating, we're dealing with banditry, extension terrorism, it's asymmetrical warfare.
Okay.
And there's also symmetrical warfare, the normal conventional war we are used to. These two kind of warfares, you need something very important, which is HUMINT. HUMINT is called human intelligence. And if you don't interface across board, you won't have that, reliable intel, the human intelligence to either know how to work or what to do. But away from that, this same process, because that's why you find the non-kinetic aspect of combating, either if you're taking on any war, terrorism, and what have you. So that was the non-kinetic aspect of it. But it was also reported that he pulled out of such an arrangement when he found out that they were not responsive. He pulled out.
Because
it was widely reported.
It was
that action was jettisoned, and you see, it is so sad. And what I said, you see, let's put it this way: you're accusing Matawalle of being in bed with bandits. Can somebody come supervise an operation, a policy that will start neutralizing his allies without telling them to run away? In the last 1 year, which never happened even under the 8 years of a military of a former general, 14 or 16 out of wanted bandit leaders have been neutralized in the last 1 year. And now, you're trying everything possible to demoralize the troops. You're trying everything possible to scandalize and, you know, demoralize the efforts of these people.
That is Dr. Dauda Lawal.
Dr. Dauda Lawal. So now the question is this. The Tuji, there's a video of Tuji when they made these outlandish, outrageous allegations, which Tuji claimed that, yes, is now fighting for the government of Zamfara State. That's victim mentality, though, if you want to put it there. How can a criminal? And the only bandit leader, so to speak, the most notorious one that probably knows the nose is closing in on me, is Tuji. So you start to ask yourself, is this not mischief on the part of Dauda Lawal? And it speaks to the volume that obviously is not, probably not, definitely not Matawalle. We can also put this Dr. Dauda Lawal as in bed with bandits. Because why are you putting down the efforts of government institutions? We've never had it. I've been to Zamfara. And I knew how my heart was in my mouth, the journey from Sokoto to Zamfara.
Okay. Yes, yes. Such is the nature of the place.
But now, we can see the massive clear out. In a bid to combat the, because Tuji is not even really, because he made a lot of allegations, we're picking this issue bit by bit. He made like illegal gold mining and what have you. Matawalle, while he was in office, constituted anti-illegal mining task force. Like he said in his interview, he wrote to the Mr. President and they banned mining whatsoever in Zamfara State. Okay. Tuji is predominantly involved in cattle rustling. Alu Sabubu was the one that was probably, from the facts that is the one that's involved in the illegal mining and those things. To combat cattle rustling, I went to Maradon, the site of Ruga. It was extensively done with little or no funding from the federal government to combat cattle rustling. The structures are there and you can see things there. So back to the conversation, you know, Nigerians, and you see, Nigerians are quite emotive. Why are we always quick to believe? I might not be a fan of APC government. I might not be a fan of Mr. President. But when they're doing the right thing, we should support it as patriotic Nigerians.
I hear you. Now, let me ask you a question before you continue, and I'm sure you can take care of that.
Yeah.
Hearing you speak, quite frankly, it's clear that if you were to, you know, align with anybody's presentation, it seems to be with the former governor in terms of this whole conversation going on.
Yeah.
You just said before I put this question that, well, I'm not really a fan of, I don't know if you mean by that APC or, you know, in fact, you did go ahead and say that even the presidency, you're not really a fan of them, suggesting that, you know, you had hoped that someone else...
Yeah, I've sat down because I know.
You were hoping that someone else might have won the election, but as it is. So, but I bring that, how would you answer those critics that say, this man seems to have an axe to grind and is just throwing his weight behind the former governor, who, it's clear, realized in the fullness of time, had made a mistake in the steps that he pursued?
You see, it's so sad.
Began to retrace his steps.
You know, it's so sad that and you know, coincidentally, and like coincidentally, they are both from Zamfara.
They are.
And you're saying somebody from Zamfara that is demonstrating the passion to remove the identity of Zamfara, be the epicenter of insecurity and banditry. And at this point, I probably want to question the patriotism or the other statement status of Lieutenant General Liu Guzo, who is widely acclaimed to be a spy master. This is happening in states. He's a leader, he's another statement, he's in that state. What, has he not trying, can't he just even call Dauda Lawal to order? Dauda Lawal is working against national security, and that's the truth.
And Dauda Lawal at a point was saying that the system seemed to be working against him, by which, and he explained that by saying that he lost his cool when he felt that they were discussing the security situation and how to address it in Zamfara State at the federal level without him being involved, until he made some noise about it, and then there's been a reapproachment since then, and as he put it, well, things are going along.
No, I think we still need to put this out there. The last time there was a reportage, widely, you know, across all media houses, when Dauda Lawal and Matawalle, when they met, I think, said they're ready to work together to restore peace in Zamfara.
Yes.
And, you know, you could see from the part of Matawalle and federal government what they are doing. utterances, actions, and what have you. Can that be said of Dauda Lawal?
Okay.
And now, secondly, let us say this.
Although Dauda Lawal would appear to have, the expression is calmed down a bit, because he's now talking about, since he sort of, protested.
There's no effort. I was going to say this.
Things were getting better.
I've read the Constitution from the first schedule.
I think his attitude is, you can't shave a person's...
I'm going to address that's how I want to address.
I think we have to credit that to MKO.
Yeah, but you know,
shave a person's head in his absence.
This is it. I've read the Constitution from the first schedule to the seventh schedule. I've read the Part G, Part G and I, the National Security Council and National Defense Council. In that, whatever, I didn't find a place for governor of a state in it. And we're discussing national issues and security issues. The governor of a state is not in the C³ or C3 of any of our security institutions. Okay. That's the command, control, and communication structure of the armed forces. Everybody reports to the commander-in-chief. So please, how is Dauda Lawal expected to be part or to be privy to such information or such activities or operations?
He says he's the chief security officer of the state.
Please, we all saw the last time there was meant to be upon someone carry out a court order, an injunction in Magodoye. The inspector on ground, did he take order from the governor of Lagos State? He did not. It's not in the command structure. Can he give a CP of a state an instruction? No. Let's just put the facts out there. The allegations Dauda Lawal is making is outlandish, is libelous. Okay. And I think this is one of the reasons some of us might probably want to push for removal of immunity clause. Because I'll keep saying it, it's well above his pay grade. It can never have access to such intel.
But as you said, the man is from Zamfara.
And they are working.
And the previous governor is from Zamfara. So both of them are, they owe it to their people.
You see, I think that is where we come with the politics.
Yes, that's why I was going.
You see,
is this all about politics?
It's all about politics, it's obvious. Because if you accuse somebody of not working, or you accuse somebody of doing everything bad, and everything on grounds speaks against what your allegations, accusations, there's more to it.
Yes.
Let Mr. President...
He's even accused his predecessor of embezzlement.
Those ones will be dealt with. Because that's... In fact, okay, you're accusing of embezzlement. EFCC under Bauer came up with the allegation. There was a counter allegation by Matawalle. So as we speak, we're still in public office. But why was Bauer hacked? If there was no credence in the allegations of Matawalle, Bauer would still be in office. We saw how the president held on to Bichi and fire of the NIA. So if there was no substance in the allegations of Matawalle against Bauer would still be in office. So I think let's just put that aside. Okay. If the president today, and you see these allegations that Dauda Lawal is coming up with, is not just attacking Matawalle, he's also insulting Mr. President. He's insulting the intelligence of Mr. President, and he's also insulting and probably pulling down our institutions. Because you want to tell me that after the requirement or required vetting by the security agencies, Mr. President, in his wisdom now, decided to send somebody with questionable character to such a ministry?
That's a problem in the logic.
So it doesn't add up.
That's a problem right there.
And the person, now from what we can see,
because unless he knows something that the intelligence community is not aware of.
Who is not aware of, Mr. President?
No, yes, that's the implication of what Dauda Lawal is saying.
No, the implication is that Dauda Lawal is actually calling everybody in Nigeria fools, except himself. Because if Mr. President is acting on intelligence report, second somebody to a ministry, and the guy is performing based on the report, and somebody is singing another song, we should probably know that no Matawalle or Mr. President is in bed with the bandits. It's Dauda Lawal obviously in bed with the bandits, trying to secure his investment or his people.
So the libelous part of what you used the word earlier, the libelous part of all of this is that the incumbent governor is, by saying that bandits had access to State House and were being, fed from there. You
see, it's so sad that Nigerians, we get selective in what we want to believe. When
just before you continue, let me take off the first caller. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling.
Good morning to your guests as well.
Good morning.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, the allegations against former Governor Matawalle date back to before Governor Lawal came to office. These allegations of fraternization with bandits. And it was during Matawalle's tenure that Bello, the criminal, was banned. So these allegations have been in the air even before this governor came. I didn't expect Governor Dr. Lawal to concentrate on allegations. He should have concentrated on actions or joint efforts to tackle it. But if he's making these allegations on here, what I think the government needs to do is for the DSS to intervene and come up with an official report. This governor cannot be prosecuted, but he's making very delicate statements. Let DSS carry out an investigation and let the people know what the truth about it is. It's important, rather than just dancing around the subject.
Okay.
That's my view.
Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in, because what he has just said is at the root of the problem that everybody sees, which is that we need this problem addressed. Meanwhile, there's this back and forth going on between the former first citizen of the state and the incumbent first citizen of the state. So how do we get back to that? It was a very bad idea. I think we shouldn't be quiet in saying it was a very bad idea. That is the way most ordinary, right-thinking members of society will be looking at it. If you said because you were overwhelmed, you decided that let's cozy up to the bandits, and then it went wrong, and then you quickly withdrew. And while you're saying that, the part of it that most people won't be able to understand clearly, them not being professionals and all of that, is that traditional rulers were involved, religious rulers were involved. It wasn't a unilateral decision. It was the police. It was a communal decision. How could a whole set of it be wrong? How could they get it so wrong? And you see, but look, if you can look, relying on the utterances of Mr. George, you can also see what Dauda Lawal is playing and what he wants to achieve. Sowing the seed of doubts in Nigerians. And I tell people say, yes, it should be investigated. This matter calls for no, there's no need for investigation, because if there was a need for Matawalle to be investigated, who would have been a minister? Yes. Yes. He wouldn't have been a minister. And by virtue of his appointment, or again getting appointed as a minister, and his activities and his conduct in office as a minister, even as a Minister of Defense, what they have done, what DICON has achieved, what the Minister of Defense has achieved as a ministry, this was the first time Nigeria was not shut out of the global defense show in Saudi Arabia that's been going on for the past 10 years. And we knew the efforts of trying to... You see, it's an old... So with all of this out there, it goes back to a statement you made very early on, as soon as we started the program, which is that Dauda Lawal simply doesn't want Matawalle as a minister. Let me say something. That's what I was going to do. If Mr. President comes up today and says he's creating a ministry for traffic control in Nigeria, and he seconds Matawalle to that ministry, this allegation by Dauda Lawal will stop. That's the truth. The problem of Dauda Lawal is he doesn't want Matawalle as Minister of Defense. And it's obvious. If somebody as a Minister of Defense from your state is making efforts and is recording achievements and successes against banditry, and you're going out day in, day out at every opportunity that has nothing to do with him, you're dropping his name and these damning allegations unfounded, it shows that you have a lot to put. You are the one that has a lot of things to hide. Well, when you use the word unfounded, I guess that would be the result of the whole intelligence community and the presidency. And indeed the presidency, because you pointed out that, come on, the whole intelligence community, they didn't know what the governor is now. It's not just about the police, talking about the DSS, the NIA, the DI. Everybody, the traditional rulers and all of that. And do you think as we speak, if those allegations are true, citizens of the state, that everybody said, go this way. The intelligence corps of the military, you think they report directly to Mr. President? Okay. So would have gone to Mr. President with a report indicting the ministry. So you don't buy it in a line. You don't buy it. It's silliness. Mr. Yakub, good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Shijori, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And good morning to your guys.
Mr. Saka.
Shijori, to me, I think this is how politics. This is all politics. It is all about a next election that nobody knows who is going to reach that time. We always pray that God Almighty allows our time. See, all these are politicians, especially the governors. They were enjoying everything all because of quote and unquote. I call it quote and unquote immunity because they use that very, very particular clause in our law to perpetrate a lot of things. Even though they knew that what they are doing is not good, but they always have it at the back of their mind that yes, I have immunity, nobody can touch me. Even though I do something wrong, they wait until next 3-4 years before the police or whoever can move in. Even when after their tenure in the office, you can still see other governors that also have immunity. They're escorting the other one that is supposed to be prosecuted to the EFCC or another. You get what I'm trying to say that. So if Dauda Lawal know all these things, and then you are a governor of a state, meanwhile the former governor is also from that state, and then this person who is very, very, very high-ranking political office in this country, being in that security apparatus, and then the guy is working day and night, making sure that state come to limelight, so that the bandits will not disturb anybody in that state. How many months, how many years back, Babajide Otitoloju have been mentioned this very particular name to us on Journalist Hangout, which every one of us know that this person is a notorious bandit. And then we are all praying, even though we are not from Zamfara State, we are all praying one day this guy will be caught. And then finally it has been caught. And then you begin to lay and then raise all these allegations. And then, as your guy said, I didn't mean there is no immunity clause for all these governors. I can tell you, Shifori, they will be mind their mouth, they will be mind their move, they will be mind what they were saying. But because they knew, as I said earlier, that nobody can touch them in as much as they are still in the office, and then they have this immunity. In fact, if I have my way, as your guest said, I could propose that this immunity should be removed because they use it. In fact, that is why some of us, even though we support state police, usually, let me ask you, I didn't believe this state police has been come to play now, and then it has been operating in every state in this country. I can tell you some, let me use word of some. Some government will misuse our police. Ahead, we have a tax law whereby they will have boundaries, they will have what they cannot be able to use them to do because they will use them against even the ordinary citizens, even against the other political parties that will not belong to their party. So, basically what I'm trying to say in essence is that, as Mr. George rightly said, the DSS, they should move in, do their investigation, even though they cannot be touched. But I believe he cannot be staying in the office forever. One day, he will leave the scene. If the DSS carry out their investigation, and then they find out that all this, what Dauda Lawal is saying is life of the priest of it will be caught and death of the tenor. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I know. In addition,
please, I'm going to, when I come back from break, then I won't interrupt you. So I don't want to truncate what you want to say. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. We'll look at the extent to which this back and forth between the incumbent governor and his opposition party predecessor is actually, sabotaging the whole effort at bringing security to Zamfara State. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. My guest is Mr. Dauda Saka. He's a public affairs analyst and as well as a PR and security consultant. We're looking at Matawalle, the Minister of State for, Defense, and, the war against banditry. This is against the backdrop of a deluge of criticism coming from the incumbent governor, who is of the opposition PDP. And so people are asking, how much of this is really politics? Because the election is over and done with, and it should be about governance. And surely, in the interest of the people, the two, senior politicians should be able to come together. But that doesn't seem to look, it looks like there's no ceasefire. Any opportunity the incumbent governor gets, he's going to be talking about the embezzlement of humongous figures from the treasury in Zamfara.
Well, like I said, I think I've pointed that out about the EFCC case, Bawawa is not in office and what have you. I know it's so sad for some people, some of us way back on during the days of former President Muhammadu Buhari, where Nigeria went buying to Kano jets.
Yes.
So some of us that have little basic and extensive knowledge of counter-insurgency and what have you, we question that purchase, that procurement. Because it was not needed. If there's anything you need to fight this kind of war we're dealing with, yes, you need attack helicopters.
Okay. And
if you want to, we saw how the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari came into office, abandoned and cancelled all previous arms contracts and what have you. But that did not happen in this administration. When he got into office, 4-6 months into office, especially when Matawalle and Badru were seconded to the Ministry of Defense, they went ahead to ensure that Nigeria got delivery of attack helicopters from Turkey to boost. Because in this kind of warfare, you need what is called OAS and CAS. OAS is called offensive air support, to give them the attack edge when they go in and what have you. The CAS is close air support, to give them cover. And probably even in some instances, you can use it to carry what is called a dust-off. That's a medical evac.
Okay, okay.
And you see people putting in place things some of us have been clamoring, have been shouting, that are missing in this war, that could have ended this war. And through to our analysis, in 1 year, I insist, in 1 year, 16 terrorist bandit leaders have been neutralized, as against none that was neutralized in 8 years. Of President Muhammadu Buhari, a northerner, a former military general.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
So to speak.
So to speak.
Reverend Dominic, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori. Good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yori, I want to continue where my friend Yakub stopped.
Sure.
Yori, it will be an unfortunate thing for every average Nigerian to take side when two politicians are quarreling. I have lived in this nation over 50 years, and I follow politics and I'm a part of it. When two politicians are talking, don't take side. There's somebody in between two of them saying the truth that is mixed. There's a document I have here, Yore, the Matawalle interview with Chavez. He gave the journalists some documents, which I have here now, about this governor, present governor. It seems to me, two of them know themselves by the document available for me here. Two of them know themselves very well. They have interacted. According to him, this present governor was his aide, in quotes, and he gave him some contracts. But what I'm trying to say is, you're in this channel. Years ago, one of your guests insulted me when I said that the Boko Haram and bandits are known by us in the sense that the government of governors or the leaders of the north know these people by their name. They're not strangers. Just like from southeast, IPOP is our brothers. They are our sisters. There's nothing like unknown government. They are our cousins. They are our in-laws. We know them. It's our ability to talk to them. One of their guests insults me. It doesn't come to the program again. What we're saying is, if the hands of actors in government are not in Boko Haram and bandits, we could have ended this matter a long time ago. That is gospel truth. So whether it's Matawalle or the present governor, they know what they're saying. There is truth in what they're saying. They know these actors. It's about to have the political will to stop this shenanigan. Let me correct your guest for one thing. You said that if Matawalle is not culpable, that DSS will find him. Do you know a man called Magu, the former ESS chairman? Do you know what was going back and forth? DSS indict him, SS did not indict him, police did not indict him, Mr. President wants him, and there's a security conflict in between. Anything can happen to our nation. Matawalle is not a saint. The present government is not a saint. But the issue is this, that the actors in Nigeria, both us, we know these people. If we want to stop this nonsense, with unanimous agreement to say this is evil, we can stop this banditry and Boko Haram. They know themselves. That's gospel truth. God bless Nigeria.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic.
Let me respond to
this whole matter. But the point he's making, I don't know, would you like to relate to that? Because even away from this subject matter, There are secrets in the governance of this country.
Yeah.
There are secrets in the administration of this company, and these are not just ordinary.
It's not just Nigeria.
It's not just Nigeria. but things unfortunately slip into the open that makes everybody wide-eyed. Say, what? This could happen in this country?
I probably want to respond to Reverend Dominic. As we speak, if there had been nobody that had been turned down based on security reports, that getting an appointment or probably getting a posting, you can as well blame this government or probably believe or suspect this government of shielding anybody that has such indicting reports and still push the person forward into public office. But if there have been something to speak to that can never happen, please let's just let it slide. I would not, even when the DSS, when I accuse them of being a lousy agency, there are some things that the DSS will never compromise. It was widely reported during Salisu Buhari era, when he emerged as the Speaker of that zone, there was a DSS report to President Obasanjo. But Obasanjo stayed action on it because he didn't want to, scuttle the transition, the full transition into democratic rule. And he probably found a political way of probably easing him out. So we cannot say, you say President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is on a hot seat. I don't pity him, I don't fancy, because I don't even want to be on that seat as we speak. But he knows the economy is not favorable to Nigerians but at least this is going to be the second Independence Day and is going to celebrate tomorrow. We want to have a talking point. And at least he wants to have an achievement or something to brag with. So do you think he will want to fold his hands and compromise his efforts on national security? That is one. Then secondly, it's people should get this. In fact, as we speak today, a terrorist, a Boko Haram fighter surrendered in Borno, was widely reported. As we speak today, Shehu Sani, which everybody can say is critical, is objective. If I look at the fact that the Ministry of Defense and the military have done so well because there has been a massive reduction in activities of bandits.
Yeah.
So please, the question is, why is Dauda Lawal crying?
Okay. Ralph in Kaduna, good morning to you, sir.
I'm with you, please.
Did you hear us, Ralph? Good morning.
Ralph in Kaduna. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning, sir.
I greet your guest as well.
Yes. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning. I greet you, Mr. Yori, and I greet your guest as well. You see, the problem with us many a times is that Mr. Yori, and I greet your guest as well.
Please don't bother about those echoes. Ignore them.
When it comes to public analysis, we, the journalists of this country, we are not doing much. It is our responsibility. It is our responsibility to make sure we are investigative enough. And when we have guests who are coming on board for public analysis, they should not take side with anybody. Your guest started on the note of exonerating Matawalle completely. I don't think it is his responsibility to do that kind of exoneration. We don't need to take side. The way he talks, when he even mentioned that there are some secrets in Nigerian governance, he quickly pointed out that it is not peculiar to Nigeria. We know that if there should be secrets in Nigerian governance, it should not be played, again, that should be played on security and life of people. So we should do our analysis based on neutral ground. Don't take side with anybody. Wait for DSS and every other organs that are responsible for exoneration. At this point, I'm going to, in the north, it's been mentioned when state actors have conversation, have contact with non-state actors of the state. It shouldn't be. And when your name is mentioned in the forefront of issues like this, the onus lies on DSS and what other organ of investigation should step up their game. By now, I'm expecting that Matawalle, the presidency should have done something about Matawalle, or just step aside until we find out that this thing is not as claimed. Don't forget that what is his name? Dauda Lawal is the current chief security officer of a state. So whatever information is bringing to you, I want to believe that it should be a forehand information. So
thank you very much.
I was having a good laugh, and let me correct the impression and the notion of the caller. When we talked about secrets, I wasn't being mischievous that it's about security of lives and properties in Nigeria. We were just trying, it was a general thing that there are secrets.
But he did say that from the very top of the program, you've been very supportive of one side in this.
But no, because I'm a Nigerian.
Which is
Minister Matawalle. I'm a Nigerian.
Sure.
I'm speaking to facts.
Okay.
I'm speaking based on my knowledge. And he said Dauda Lawal is the governor of Zamfara State. Whatever he's saying, he has his facts and his intel. And I asked this simple question. Please tell me, even if it's the Nigerian Peace Corps, where you find the role of the governor in the command structure, chain of command. None.
That's why you said it's...
Then secondly, when you keep saying the DSS should investigate, I laugh because there's nothing to investigate.
Because the DSS has done its job
before now.
And Mr. President has accepted that job going by the actions he took.
Unless Dauda Lawal, like I said, unless Dauda Lawal is saying that Mr. President, this question of the intelligence of Mr. President is patriotism. That is why we need to call Dauda Lawal to order. If we should find a way within the law, if it's possible to call Dauda Lawal to order.
What you're saying is that we need to be playing by the rules. There
should be a limit to how we go about political opposition.
Okay. And playing by the rules is that it is the rule that everybody who Mr. President wants to put in a significant position needs to be vetted by the intelligence service, by the security service, to see that he is indeed appointable. And if they have come back with the results of their investigation and Mr. President has acted on it, that's playing by the rules.
So secondly, all this is, you see, there's something in communications, perception management, creating the perception and what have you. Dauda Lawal is obviously, and has obviously created a perception. He wants them to act, to do his bidding. To see Matawalle as a misfit for that office of Minister of Defense. That is his top priority from his actions. He cannot deny that fact. How can you tell me that somebody from your state that are doing so well, and you're still accusing him of... You see, I know where Nigerians are coming from. We're quite emotive as a people. Very, very emotive. But sometimes we should be logical, and let's look at things objectively, not with sentiment or bias. The question is it possible for Dauda Lawal to even be available, to even be opportune to have access to security reports about Zamfara State, the DSS office in the state? Hell no. He cannot. He will not.
They don't work with him?
He doesn't have...
In all the states? In all the states?
It's at the command level. It's anything that has to do with him.
I believe there are committees of the governor and these...
When it comes to national security, when it comes to national security, when it comes about what you need to work with as a state governor, you'll be given to. But when it comes to national security, it's not, it's at the command level.
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
If it's about, okay, this is what is happening in your state, Mr. Governor, these are the flashpoints and what have you.
So when the current governor was shouting that, crying that, you people are meeting behind my back, I'm the chief security officer here, you've explained that.
And secondly, he said so much. Well, okay, there was a time students, like Matawalle said, when the students of Federal University of Gusau were kidnapped. So where was Dauda Lawal?
Okay.
It was in the US.
Okay.
And he lost his people so much, he didn't even cut his strip short.
Okay.
He stayed full length of his trip.
Okay, he brought that matter up, that the perm sex children were kidnapped, and the bandits, the terrorists, whatever you want to call them, the bad guys, were actually, they paid the ransom.
No, in fact, this is what happened. When these children were kidnapped in Gusau, that was the first time banditry and what have you got to the capital.
And government paid the ransom.
I didn't even know how that was settled. I didn't even know who paid ransom or who did not pay ransom. That is
what the incumbent governor is alleging.
But what I said was, as a governor, you're coming to love your people so much. Such an instance that happened that borders on the security that you're thinking is your predecessor.
You know, the incumbent governor has been so critical of his predecessor. He even said that there were far too many palm sex in any case, and that he has reduced it.
And for me, I'm still questioning this. It's a guy that came out publicly to misinform and lie to Nigerians about his efforts on combating banditry. Because we should question how the community protective...
The way you phrase your
he lied.
Your point is why some people are saying that...
No, but that's the truth.
That analyst is clear...
No, but that is the truth.
On somebody...
No, sorry, I want to ask a question. If somebody gives you an inaccurate or a false account of something. What is that?
Shouldn't one be able
It's a lie.
Okay.
Because that is it. Because this.
Let me not lose Wale, who has called in and is holding on. Good morning, Wale. Thank you for holding on. Wale has called in from where? Amokoko. Wale in Amokoko. Good morning to you, sir. Go ahead, Wale. Can you hear us?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Wale, calling from Amokoko in Lagos.
Go ahead and don't listen to any echo, sir. Just continue.
All right, sir. All right. Please, sir, I'm a young guy, but I listen to a lot of radio program, TV program, especially TVC News and other TV stations. Let me not mention names. But the issue of this insecurity is that I want to take it from another perspective.
Okay.
Number one that I'm calling about is that concerning the security issue, this Amokoko that I'm calling for, I've called several times on radio and TV that there is a police station called that same Paco police station. In the morning, this is not Agbero, this is not state actor. These are the policemen themselves. In the morning, they will collect money from bikes and all this marijuana. In the afternoon, they will collect, and again in the night. Now, in a situation, now taking it back to insecurity, in a situation whereby a police from that department was sacked, don't you think he will not form alliance with his member and start doing that same thing that they are doing there? Then secondly, that I said I'm calling from this insecurity issue from another angle is that the government are not taking pride in encouraging the youth, especially we in our locality here. We like football and sports. Why don't they help us? All these recreation centers, football centers, and all these things, our national stadium, let them take care of these things. The youth, we have something doing. So I don't know why the national stadium was there, and even this current president, use it to insult the federal government as the state government. They are building another stadium beside.
All right.
And even that state.
I want to thank you very much, Wale, calling in from Amokoko. Well, thank you. Thank you for your contribution, but we are discussing Matawalle and the war against banditry. But nevertheless, I think I understand where you're coming from. You're talking, it's about extensions, that ideas can be extended.
I know what I was saying, because like I said, if somebody could come out to look at Nigerians into the eyes and tell them he's inaugurating what has been inaugurated 2 years before.
Okay.
And nobody even took our time to check, like, we came here a year or two ago to do this. We are here again this year. What's happening?
So that's where you feel some insincerity.
The guy has been insincere from day one.
Okay.
It's not to Dauda Lawal. It's all about politics, and it's a sad thing.
Well, maybe it's the way you phrase your.
No, but that's the truth.
That makes people say that analysts are not.
But the truth of the matter is, anybody that knows me, knows where I stand, knows how critical I've been, also issues and what have you. Yes, I have friends across board, but they're just trying to find a way to just tolerate me and indulge me. But when it comes to the issue of security, in 2013, from 2010 to 2015, there was no day I spared President Jonathan, former President Jonathan.
Okay. So
I supported President Buhari, campaigned for him with everything I have. Okay. But for when he started misbehaving in office, when it comes to insecurity, I didn't spare him.
So when you look at everything considered, you say that...
So but you can talk about anything, football might be biased, entertainment, but when it comes to security and national security, I am not biased. Because if Nigeria go up in flames, please, I don't have a second passport.
Exactly. Okay. I get what you're saying, that this is the way you have analyzed it, this is the way you see it, and that the incumbent governor,
he should stop playing politics with his national security. We can't afford that. You see,
that's your final analysis.
My final, but because that's the submission.
Analysis.
And he should let Mr. President.
About politics.
He should let Mr. President decide where he wants his ministers to be, and not eating up the politics because he wants a movement or a rejig. This thing gets heightened because of the reshufflement news going around, and he wants to. That's why this perception is being pushed out.
Well, I think it's a fine place to leave it. I want to thank you very much. The way you sort of analyzed it, said, look, this might not be much more than politics on the part of the incumbent governor, because we've heard from him. But then again, it's for the viewers to
decide and choose a side.
To decide. The facts are before them. The analysis is before them. Let them comment on the analysis. Let them comment on the facts.
Maybe a last parting shot. Maybe what Nigerians should be asking is maybe DSS should just, but it's not for us to see.
DSS doesn't.
It's not for us to see.
DSS.
That's what I said. It's not for us to see.
They don't.
So, but
they don't.
But the actions and what is on ground speaks to itself.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, dear Misaka, public affairs
journalist.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you have me again soon.
Of course, PR and security consultant. That's our program today. Do please join us for a fresh edition tomorrow. I am Yori Folani.